Chidrano is live. Chidrano is live. Today, the 11th of October 2019. Uh, we are growing. I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers and my existing subscribers. We gained 2 subscribers since the last time I was on live. So yeah, welcome to my channel. I am Chidrano, and yeah, today we're going to talk about something very significant. Uh, Europe has always, depended on Africa for resources. Okay, we all know that Europe has no resources, none at all. Okay, Europe has no gold mines, but yet they have the most gold reserves. So I mean, this is really terrible. And all the resources that Europe has, okay, comes from Africa. Uh, Africa has been feeding Europe for over thousands and thousands of years. Even the Roman Empire depended on Africa, for food. So we know what Europeans did on the continent. They colonized it. Okay, they divided it up like farmlands. Okay, just to take resources out of it. They never developed the continent for any good reason, other than exploiting the continent. When you see the existing railway constructions, they are from the interior to the coast. Okay, vast forests were cut down. Okay, people were exploited. People were enslaved on the continent to work at rubber plantations. Okay, yeah. So has been the legacy of Europe or on the continent, and in 2019, okay, they still depend on Africa for resources. You know, so we all know what the French, especially the French, have been doing on the continent. When you talk about the Sahel region, majority of West Africa is being colonized by France. They control the monetary system of France. West Africa, majority of West African countries, minus Ghana, Nigeria, and I'll say maybe is it Guinea? Or Gambia, I think. But yeah, so I really do not like this at all. Okay, and I don't think any African is very excited about what France is doing on the continent. But today's news is about how Notre Dame. Okay, so in April this year, April 15th, we saw the news on the news that it went so viral. Okay, that the Notre Dame Cathedral was on fire. It was April 15th, and the hysteria and panic of so many people as if they're losing a loved one. People were in tears. People were in shock, and surprisingly, I did not see the same reaction when the Amazon forests were on fire as well. So I saw this news and I'm like, okay, here we go again. So within 24 hours, donations kept pouring in to rebuild the cathedral. Something of religious significance that has led to the enslavement of many people all over the world. So donations kept pouring in, even from African presidents themselves. It was alleged that the Guinean president donated $1 million, which is very appalling when your country, majority of the citizens are in poverty. You are donating $1 million to rebuild a cathedral, a religious building from which laws were passed to enslave fellow Africans. And the president of Ghana himself came under scrutiny and a lot of fire when he also made a tweet about the Notre Dame Cathedral. And we all know the Guinean president Nana Akufo-Addo has a strong tie to Emmanuel Macron of France, and being that he lived in France, he was educated in France and Britain. But yeah, he came under a lot of fire. Okay, and there were the allegation that he was also going to donate money to rebuild the cathedral. So Guineans didn't really like that at all. But the news now that Notre Dame um, is going to be under reconstruction. It was reported on BBC 2 days back. I saw this article, but I'm yet to get to it now. So I saw this article on BBC. I first saw it on Ghana Web, but I tried to go back to Ghana Web. The article is no longer on Ghana Web, so it's on BBC. So I'm going to share this short article, okay, and show you how Europe still depends on Africa for resources to even rebuild, right? So the article alludes to so much, devastation that was done, okay, to even Europe itself, the forest of Europe, just to rebuild one cathedral. Okay. So it was a huge, measure of forest were cut down, of oak trees that have lived. If you know an oak tree can live for 100 years plus. Okay, even I'm not too sure how long, but I know some oak trees that are over 100 years old, and they had to cut down all these oak trees to build this cathedral. And now the cathedrals went on fire, and they have to rebuild it. So they're looking for timber to rebuild it. So I'm going to read this article, and I do not have anyone here, but if I have people come in, okay, I'll leave my email in the chat. I'll leave my email in the chat. Okay, if you're interested in hopping on to give me your 2 cents, okay, please do that. Okay. All right. So my email is in the chat, chiefdriner@hotmail.com. So if you come in, like the stream. Okay. So I'll go straight to the article now. All right. So it's spring, so I am suffering some allergies here, but I just had to have a sip of water. So BBC, this article was on the 6th of October 2019. Okay. BBC.com. Okay. Notre Dame, how an underwater forest in Ghana could help rebuild a Paris icon. So these are the images of the Notre Dame. Okay, that went ablaze. Okay, on the 15th of April 2019. So it says wood from a vast underwater forest in Ghana could be used to rebuild Notre Dame Cathedral after its spire and roof were consumed by a blaze in April. sorry, allergies. Right. So going back to the article. So yeah, massive tropical trees have been submerged beneath Lake Volta since 1965, when the construction of Ghana's Akosombo Dam flooded part of the Volta River basin. A Guinean company which has government concessions to harvest this wood believes that using it to rebuild Notre Dame is more environmentally friendly than cutting down new trees. Okay. So yeah, this is a picture of Lake Volta. If you know Lake Volta, it's the largest man-made lake in the world. So Lake Volta spans 3,300 square miles, so 8,500 square kilometers, and is the world's largest man-made reservoir. So this is nearly the same size as Melbourne, which is the biggest city in the world. Melbourne City is the biggest city in the world in terms of land size. So Melbourne City in Australia. So KT Karachi Timber Recovery argues that the wood is much stronger because it has been preserved from decay by the lake's bog-like conditions and has started to fossilize. While some experts have described the proposal as a genius solution, others warn that it could have disastrous consequences for the ecosystem. The company has submitted its proposal to the French government, arguing that using this wood from Lake Volta would help restore Notre Dame to its original state. So this is what it looks like now after the fire. So Notre Dame's roof and spire collapsed after a fire burned through the cathedral in April. So an estimated 1,300 trees, mainly oaks, were felled in the 12th century to build Notre Dame's iconic frame and spire. The deforested area spanned 52 acres, the equivalent of 26 football pitches. So football, we're talking about soccer pitches. Okay. So according to Bertrand de Feydeau, Vice President of French Preservation Group, Fondation du Patrimoine, sorry, excuse my French. France no longer has giant oak trees of the same size and maturity that were used to build the original structure. So, as you know, Europe has lost, nearly 70% of the forest. Okay, so France underwent reforestation and planting some more trees, but we know you can't reverse the situation in France. Okay, in less than 200 years, southern Europe is going to be desert. Okay, so yeah, you know what's going on with climate change and that. So Francis Kalitsi, chairman and co-founder of KT Karachi, agrees. We don't think they still have oak in these volumes for the construction of the cathedrals. He said, whereas underneath the lake, you have typical African hardwoods that are similar to oak trees. Their density may range from 650 kilograms to 900 kilograms per cubic meter. They are structural timbers which could be useful in a reconstruction. KT Karachi already harvests the underwater timber using remotely operated machinery guided by video sonar and GPS navigation. Most of the wood is exported to Europe and some to South Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. So here you can see how the rest of the world still depend on Africa, okay, when it comes to natural resources, right? So here we have the remotely operated machinery is used to extract timber from Lake Volta here. So this is a massive lake. You can't even see land, okay? It's a very huge lake, right? So the company says if commissioned, it would sell $50 million in equivalents of 39.5 euros. Is it euros or pounds? These are euros worth of wood to the French government. Its proposal has already been acknowledged by the Ministry of Culture, Jeremy Patrie Litos. Sorry, I butchered your name. From the French Culture Ministry told the BBC, right now we don't know if the frame will be rebuilt in wood. We are in the process of securing the monument, and then we will have to rebuild the vault and the spire. So yeah, in order for them to restore it to its original glory, they have to use timber. Okay, they have to use timber, so it will never be the same again. So reconstruction will start once the structure of the monument is stabilized and preserved. We will study the different genres of it once we have confirmed the material used to rebuild the frame. So here, the article will be in the description box. You can check it out for yourself. You can see the video. So bog oak, a more durable wood. Dr. Kathy Oakes, specialist in French and English medieval architecture and iconography, at the University of Oxford, said the wood in Lake Volta could be similar to bog oak, which was widely used in medieval constructions and furniture, although not in the original Notre Dame. Bog oak has similarly been exposed to water for a long period of time, so it's stronger and more durable, he said in remarks before her death this summer. So yeah, we have the timber that has been recovered from the water. Okay, so wood from Lake Volta could boost Ghana's timber industry. I'm very saddened when you go to Ghana, you see massive forests that have been cut down. Okay, I hope they are replanting these forests, right? The shortage of oxygen and acidic conditions of peat bogs and riverbeds help to preserve tree trunks from decay. The wood then begins to fossilize, making it significantly stronger. Andrew Val, director of London-based sustainable architecture practice, War Thistleton Architects, said using African wood such as Iroko from Lake Volta could be a genius solution. It would seem to be a great way to solving a problem and helping a poorer economy, he said. So yeah, at least they're thinking about helping the economy, so facilitating trade. So as you can see, timber is loaded onto a barge, after it's extracted from the lake. Okay, so Iroko is an incredible, durable, hard-wearing timber. It's very stable unless there are many issues with decay from taking it out of the water. One would imagine it would be a great timber to work with. But what about the environment? However, concerns have been raised about the possible negative impact harvesting wood from Lake Volta could have on the local ecosystem. A report in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives said pulling trees from lake beds can pollute the water with sediment, therefore blocking the sunlight needed for aquatic organisms to survive. But they're already doing it though. Look at the machines already in the water, and it looks like they're doing it efficiently enough not to let it disturb the ecosystem. But yeah. Some say that the Lake Volta's wood is stronger as a result of being submerged for 6 decades. So the trees also provide a habitat for fish and other wildlife. Cutting them could disrupt the lake's ecology, thereby threatening Ghana's fishery industry, a lifeline for an estimated 300,000 fishing families. So we have Stephen Anani, a project officer at local NGO Friends of the Nation, told BBC that removing the underwater trees had led to a sharp decline in numbers of fish in the Lake Volta because they tend to breed around stumps. It's destroying the habitat where fish lay their eggs, he says. Some of the fish are now endangered. If you speak to fishermen along the lake, they complain bitterly. Kitikrachi Timber maintains that it does not uproot trees but cuts above the buttress, okay, leaving a portion of the stem and all the roots intact. It says this minimizes ecological disruption, which I agree, and it's going to make the Lake Volta even more navigable. So questions have also been raised about the carbon footprint associated with extracting the wood and transporting it from Ghana to France. So timber from Lake Volta includes typical African hardwoods such as Iroko and Wawa. According to the International Maritime Organization's third greenhouse gas study, maritime transport emits around 940 million tons of carbon dioxide every year and accounts for about 2.5% of global greenhouse gases. Dr. Rika in Nairobi, a Nairobi-based climate scientists are the consultative group on International Agricultural Research says harvesting the wood and transporting it to France could have a significant carbon footprint. A ship typically uses a lot of fuel, he told the BBC. The machinery used on seas, oceans, and lakes are also typically more complex and require more fossil fuels. So the machinery used on seas, oceans, and lakes are also typically more complex and require more fossil fuels, which emit carbon into the atmosphere. So here we have the fishermen doing their thing. So some fishermen near that removing tree. Some fishermen fear that removing trees from Lake Volta could lower fish populations. So it's just a concern there at the moment. So Ketikrachi maintains, however, that emissions levels related to salvaging timber from the lake are much lower compared to emissions from cutting trees on land. The bulk of fuel consumption in felling trees is in log transport, and water transport is more energy efficient than land, Mr. Kalitsi said. So Dr. Tristan Smith, an energy and shipping expert at University College London's Energy Institute, agrees that the ocean shipping is normally considered the most efficient mode of transport in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. So submerged wood is said to be similar to bog oak, widely used in medieval architecture. So this is what the timber looks like. So yeah, I'm surprised it did not decay, but yeah. However, he warned that pollution from shipping has not been as tightly regulated as other industries, so the plan to ship wood may not be as eco-friendly as it might be assumed. Depending on the specifics of the route taken and ships used, the greenhouse gas emissions from the sea voyage may be of a similar magnitude to that from the trucking used at the end of the voyage, Dr. Smith said. So yeah. Kedikrachi says the ships it plans to use would be traveling to France anyway on established trade routes. So yeah, you throughout this article you see what's going on when it comes to the relationship between Europe and Africa. Okay, so we know that Africa trades 80% with Europe and the Americas, and less than 20% within the continent itself. So with the Africa Free Trade, Continental Free Trade Agreement, taking effect as of 7th or being ratified 7th of July, and it's going to take full effect in next year, July next year. We expect that things should turn around, and Africa will be trading more with itself. So Kedikrachi says the ships it plans to use would be traveling to France anyway on established trade routes, so it would contribute negligible quantity of additional carbon into the atmosphere. So we have the extraction process here happening here on the Lake Volta. So it's a Ghana flag. So transporting goods by water can be more fuel efficient than by land. So I see here there's digger or extractors being transported on a barge. So the company ultimately believes its potential involvement in rebuilding Notre Dame would not only benefit Ghana's economy, but have a wide symbolic importance. So this is very sad. This is where I was lost in this article, where the mentality of some of these people, just because you built Notre Dame or you contributed in building Notre Dame or you contributed in building Americas or wherever, doesn't make it yours. Okay, go back to Africa and build something in Africa of symbolic importance. Don't build things of symbolic importance in France. All right. So this statement here shouldn't have been made at all, because when it's finalized, they're not going to put it out there. They're only going to probably put it in the fine print that timber used in reconstruction of Notre Dame was from Ghana. but it's not going to be in bold. When everyone goes to France, they're going to take pictures of the Notre Dame. They're not going to take pictures of whether the timber came from Ghana or not. That is of no significance at all and importance at all. So yeah, this kind of mentality needs to change. Okay, so it would mean we could play a role in an architectural feat that is a gift not only to France but to the world. No, this is a lie. It's a gift to France. When France makes its money, okay, it does not share with you. Okay, it's a tourist revenue. Okay, for France, not for Ghana, not for any African country. All right. So yeah, Mr. Kelly, see, you're wrong. Okay, you're wrong. So Dr. Oaks agrees. Yeah, of course he's gonna agree, or she's gonna agree. Of course, because it's gonna generate money for them. Of course. So I mean the Notre Dame Cathedral gained one trillion euros within 2 days in donations. $1 trillion in 2 days. And if they should get this timber, they're only going to be paying 53 million euros for this timber. How so? How so? Right? Less than 1%. How much money they got from donations alone. So yeah, I'm done with this article. Okay. As much as it is, I feel disgusted. Okay. I feel disgusted about the article. And let's see who is in the chat. Elm City, thanks for joining the stream. I'm sorry, I was reading this article. Appreciate you, Michael. Thanks for joining the stream. Anyone wants to come in and talk about this article? I have 20 minutes to burn. Otherwise, I will end the stream. So let me have a look at my emails now. Let me check my emails and see who is interested in So yeah, I did not receive any email, but yeah. So yeah, what do you think about this article, Em? What do you think about the article? Right? What do you think about the article? What do you think about the article, Em? I'm just gonna see if I can invite some guys to come in. Yeah, so on the 15th of April, okay, the Notre Dame Cathedral made headlines, okay, all over the world. People were crying, okay, which is very ridiculous, okay. People were shedding tears that their favorite cathedral is on fire, okay, which is very disgusting. You have African presidents donating $1 million, okay, African president donating millions of dollars, okay, to rebuild the Notre Dame Cathedral, okay, and I find it very, very disgusting, okay, at the expense of their own people, okay, their own people are struggling to eat, right? They're struggling to eat, so, but they're spending $1 million to rebuild a cathedral, which I find very, very disgusting. So, yeah. Yeah, well, if nobody's interested in jumping on, I am gonna scoot, okay? But yeah, Let me know what you think. Okay, if you your first time watching me, please subscribe, like the stream, share my videos. Okay, help the channel grow. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the emails again. So yeah, I purposefully came on here to share this article with you, and I will be on again tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. There's another um, article that I want to, or topic that I wanted to discuss. So yeah. All right. Well, nobody's here, so until next time. Okay, family. All right. Look after yourselves. Love one another. Okay. The power is within. Okay. Africa has everything that we need. Okay, to survive. Everybody else depends on Africa. We don't. All right. All right. Until next time. Peace, family. Peace. One love. One love. Peace. Peace, and peace.